Satchidananda-rupaya Vishwotpatyadi-hetave Tapatraya-vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Hari Om and greetings from Niagara. I think most of those in our course are involved in some sort of service. Which will sustain you longer? Serving because you're paid for it, serving because you're appreciated for it, or serving because you like what you do, because you love what you do. Which seva is going to be sustained longer? Right? Obviously, what we like to do, what we love to do, that money cannot sustain us that long. Appreciation cannot sustain us that deeply. Swami Tejomayananda has shared, the love for wealth has stolen our wealth of love. The love of wealth has taken away our focus on the wealth of love. True? The more disorder there is in any circumstance, the more authoritative the help has to be. In this ashram, if there's a small fire in the corner, we can extinguish it ourselves with a fire extinguisher. If this hall is on fire, none of us can do anything about this. We have to call in the Niagara Fire Department. If a whole block is on fire, they have to bring in bigger equipment from Hamilton or Toronto, yes? Right now in society, there is a lot of disintegration. And this requires more authoritative help. This is where Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedanta, becomes more important, more of a reality. A lot of the programs we have in our healthcare systems, our education systems, they're reactive measures. What we are doing, we're going through a course in systematic love. How to become more and more and more loving. The focus is bhakti. This is the authority that is needed, so we don't love wealth, we love love. Where we don't serve for appreciation, we serve because this is the right thing to do. All of this is explored in Srimad Bhagavatam. Thinking about last week, post the Mahabharata war, if you remember, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Yudhishthira, the brothers, Vidura, and you can keep on naming, Mother Kunti, you can keep on naming personalities. They all changed their priorities from running the kingdom to being family members. They made their only priority freedom. And they all experienced freedom. Yes. Now, unfortunately, they made this a priority post-war. So even they acted in a reactive way. Now, we're fortunate. This is our history. Why we're fortunate for such a history is we can learn the same, but not in a reactive way, in a proactive way. Why go through that war, outer, inner, to make freedom the purpose of our lives? It should be the purpose of our lives now. How lucky, how grace-filled all of the young people in this ashram are. They're learning all of this when they're 2 and 3 and 10, rather than 50 and 60. In the case of Srimad Bhagavatam, they're much older. After Raja Yudhishthira focused on freedom, he made Raja Parikshita the Raja, the ruler. And Raja Parikshita didn't want any selfishness in his kingdom. So as he explored his kingdom, he found Kali. Kali's with Dharma, Dharma's with Bhumi. All of them are together. And Kali has broken 3 of Dharma's legs and is slowly breaking the 4th. How? The first leg of Dharma is tapa, investing in oneself. And this is broken by pana. Pana means being intoxicated. The more intoxicated one is, the more extrovert they become. They don't invest in themselves. The second leg is shaucha, which is organizing. You can interpret it as cleanliness or purity. Let's call it organizing. Organizing our affairs, organizing our thoughts. This is broken by striya, where there's lust, a brothel, prostitution. How can there be cleanliness and purity where the focus is lust? Ravana's 10 heads, there's no organization or coordination amongst them. They've all succumbed to lust. The third leg is daya. Daya means empathizing, sharing, caring. And this is broken by suna. Suna means cruelty, slaughterhouses, our choice of diet. And the fourth leg that is being broken is satya. Fourth leg is being broken right now by dyuta. Dyuta is cheating. It's where gambling takes place. In my travels, I find more and more cities have casinos, not less, correct? And where there are casinos, there's more casinos, isn't it? At airports also, online, fantasy leagues. So much of this is growing. When Raja Parikshita banishes Kali to these 4 abodes, he begs for one more abode. And what is given to him? Gold or wealth. Okay? Right now, maybe this audience has a lot of gold, but typically people don't own a lot of gold, but they own a lot of wealth in the form of land or stocks and so on. We should interpret this as materialism. When someone is dependent on materials, they're materialistic. And Srimad Bhagavatam is taught that materialism brings all 4 of these negativities and more. And more. I'm thinking about this very carefully. The people that I'm looking around at probably are not intoxicated all the time, are not engaging in prostitution, are not in slaughterhouses, are not living in casinos. Right? That's more black and white, but materialism we all can justify. The home we live in, the cars we drive, the clothes we wear, the renovations. It can be justified, but remember, all of this negativity comes with materialism. This is where we completed our study. Today we're going to finish the first skanda of Bhagavatam. I'm on the first skanda, of course. I'm on the 18th adhyaya, the 30th shloka. 18th adhyaya, 30th shloka. I'll read line 1 and 2. Satu Brahma Rishe Ramse Gatasu murugam rusha vinirgachandanushkotya nidhaya puramagamat. And what is shared here is, before Raja Parikshita returns to his kingdom, with the end of his bow, what does he pick up? He picks up a dead snake. And with the end of his bow, he puts the snake around the rishi who's in samadhi and is thinking, since you're more royal than I am, may you be wearing this garland. Because he's Raja Parikshita. He is the factual Raja of all. But he's saying that you're more authoritative than I am. You're more regal than I am. So this is where we're being led to. When Kali goes to these 5 abodes, what Bhagavatam shares is that Kali is like a wolf, ready to pounce on those who are weak. Kali is afraid of those who are strong, but Kali is like a wolf to those who are weak, those who are careless. This is such an empowering message, because if we stay strong, there's no Kali Yuga then. We're living in Satya Yuga. If we're strong, if we're weak, even when in Satya Yuga, we will be in Kali Yuga. Now we fast forward some more. What is Raja Parikshita engaged in which he shouldn't be engaged in? Suna, no? Suna means cruelty, slaughterhouses. What is he doing in the jungle right now? Hunting. He is hunting. And he's the one who said Kali's going to be there, correct? And here he is, engaged in hunting. And he's supposed to be Dharma Shila, the one who's supposed to lead Dharma. But you see, in this one instance, that carelessness came to him. In Vivekji, pramado ve mrityuhu. Carelessness is death. And this very literally manifests. Raja Parikshita, when he's hungry, when he's hunting, he goes deep into the jungle and gets lost. And this is not the forests of Ohio and Pennsylvania and Ontario where it's very temperate. This is the jungle in Bharat. So hot, so humid. And he's hungry. And he's thirsty. Now, hunger and thirst are experienced by the body. It's called vyadhi. It's a disease. And that vyadhi slowly becomes adhi, which becomes misery in the mind. Pain, physically, when that's not checked, it becomes misery in the mind. The way we more casually share this, pain is mandatory, suffering is optional. He never checked his mind. He never directed it upwards. He never retraced his steps. He let his mind wander. So when his mind wandered, he questioned this rishi. This rishi is in samadhi. This rishi has no body identification, no mind identification. In the text I'm reading, his name is Samika. Other texts call him Shamika. Either way, he is engaged in Shama, which is control of the mind, or Sama. He is most balanced. But Raja Parikshita, he's suffering. So he questions him. He's asking him for food and for water, but thinks that this rishi is lying. Just doesn't want to give him anything. So in his bitterness, he puts this dead snake on the rishi and he returns. Now think, why did he have to do that? He returned, correct? Why didn't he return in the first place? And that shows the difference between Raja Parikshita and Rishi Shamika. When he came out of his samadhi, his son was crying. And he said, "What happened to you?" Some have shared his name is Shringi. I've not read his name in Bhagavatam. And he's a very pure and powerful young boy. And he's crying and he's saying that you've been insulted by the Raja, and I retaliated by cursing him that the way he used a dead serpent, I am going to use a live serpent. And his father is deeply saddened when he hears this. His son, for a moment, thought that his father would be proud, but his father is not proud. His father tells his son, I'm able to be in samadhi because of that Raja. Prior to him, where was the opportunity to engage in yajna? Where was the opportunity to engage in japa? But he's dharmashila. He's allowing brahmanas like us to do what we do. Now you've cursed him to die. And there's such a deep point here about Rishi Shamika. He never retaliated. He's the one who was insulted, sort of, but he never felt insulted. He never retaliated. For us, if we ever retaliate, if we ever seek revenge, it's because there's a dependency that's present. I depend on your approval. I depend on your power. But if I don't depend on you, you can't hurt me, so I'm not going to hurt you back. So now we should all think, if we have any bitterness in our hearts, if we're ever revengeful, it shows our dependency on that same person, the expectation of that person. But Rishi Shamika, he's free. Raja Parikshita, I had mentioned, is so integrated. He's the son of Abhimanyu. He's the son of Arjuna. So why? Why did he become careless? Why did he retaliate? He never did. Our total mind is called Ishvara. This vritti came from Bhagavan. It was not his independent vritti. It may come or look like it's his own thought, but it is not. This is all Bhagavan's Leela. Just like the Mahabharata war. And if you want to go back more, do you think Mother Sita would have been distracted by that golden deer when she has the infinite Lord in front of her? This is all Ishvara working through the total mind. Okay? That doesn't mean we should justify, I'm careless like this. It's Bhagavan's doing. And in an absolute sense, you're right, but only if you actually feel absolute like that. So this is where we are. When Raja Parikshita returned to his kingdom, what did he take off first? His crown. Just like when we go home, we take our shoes off, right? That I take my shoes off because now I'm not extrovert, I'm introvert. He takes his crown off, and as soon as he took his crown off, what went away? Confusion. What was the fifth place that Kali lives? In gold or materialism. That gold was on top of him, correct? And he takes his crown off. Now gold is not on top of him. That selfishness is not there. The way that Guruji shares this, he says in Kali, the period we live in, nobody follows mantras, they only follow yantras. Yantra is machine. This is the Industrial Revolution, correct? We have more and more machines. Artificial intelligence is coming. Self-driving cars. Self-flying planes. And what do machines make? Kala, kala, kala. They make noise. Now there's lots of noise outside, but really that noise outside is because of the noise inside. He had so much noise in his head that he couldn't think clearly. That's why he reacted. When Raja Parikshita took his crown off, he asked himself, why did I do what I just did? And he prayed to Bhagavan. What was his prayer for? Punishment. He prayed to Bhagavan to punish him as soon as possible. And as soon as he completed his prayer, who showed up in his court? That young boy. And that young boy said, this is what I did to you. And Raja Parikshita started crying out of joy, because he felt this is how much his God loves him. Now for all of us, when we're punished right away, it shows God loves us more. Because if we're not punished right away, we keep doing it, correct? But if we're punished right away, we will not do whatever we just did. It shows that Bhagavan loves us more. And it's very non-worldly, correct? In a worldly way, the more I get away with things, the smarter I am, the more clever I am. But that's not dharmic. In fact, I had read that Bhagavan is waiting for us to make mistakes so he can forgive us. Those people who are perfectionists, Bhagavan can never go and forgive such people. Again, please don't make mistakes consciously. This is all just our natural swabhava that should come out. Next, we go to the end of this skanda. I'm on the 19th adhyaya, chapter 19, the 37th shloka. We're still with Raja Parikshita. He asks, Ata prichami samsiddhim yoginam paramam gurum purushasyeha yat karyam mriyamanasya sarvata. Ataha prichami. When Raja Parikshita is in the jungle, he asks a question. To whom? Not someone who's siddha, the one who's samsiddha. The one who, amongst all yogis, is the yogi. The one who is the paramam guru. Who is he speaking to? Rishi Shuka. Rishi Shuka has come now. And he asks him, Purushasyeha yat karyam mriyam anasya sarvata. What should one be doing? What should we all be doing as we await death? As we await mrityu? What a great question. Earlier, some people were talking about that here, that Chinmaya Dhara. Raja Parikshita is overjoyed by the curse that's given to him. It's very much like Mother Kunti's stuti, that she's praying for hardships because that brings her close to Bhagavan. He is experiencing the same. And when he knows that he is going to die in 7 days, he shares all of his responsibilities with his family, with his son, and he moves to Mother Ganga and stops eating. Now there's two lovely implications of this. Where does Mother Ganga come from? Lord Shiva's hair. And from Lord Shiva's hair, what is her source before that? Bhagavan Vishnu's toe. And before that, it is Lord Brahma. That's correct. Lord Brahma is washing Bhagavan Vishnu's feet. And that water goes to Lord Shiva and comes to us. So if you think of this literally, Mother Ganga is actually the offspring, is the child of Bhagavan Vishnu. So Raja Parikshita is going to be with the child of Bhagavan Vishnu. And he stops eating. Why does he stop eating? He's the king, or still he's royal. Food can be provided to him. But this body is going to die in a week. Why do anything for the body, correct? That would be such a waste. It's like, if I have a home that they're going to tear down, why would I paint in a month? Would I paint my walls then? That would be such a waste, correct? So he just decides not to eat. And in a very practical way, whenever we have an important engagement or our sadhana, who cares if we don't eat? Raja Parikshita stopped eating for a week. And he sat at Mother Ganga and he was remembering Bhagavan Vishnu. And when he started that remembrance, the greatest of the great came there too. There is a long list of names of those who come. So many of the rishis from Ramayana. Vasishta is there, Rishi Vasishta, Rishi Vishwamitra is there, Parusharama is there. So many are there. So the greatest of the great come. And they all share, we will be with you until you leave this body. Now imagine, these are yogis, these are administrators too. Rishi Vashishtas, the Kula Guru in the Ramayana, to Bhagwan Rama's family. So much work to do, but every one of them commits that we will be here until the end. Why? Out of gratitude for Raja Parikshita. This is so amazing, is that these rishis are offering their gratitude to this kshatriya. Because this kshatriya followed his responsibilities to empower all of those brahmanas. They came out of gratitude. And Guruji has shared a gauge of the greatness of a human is at the time of their dying or death, who comes to honor them? Who comes to honor them? This would give us a gauge of the greatness of Raja Parikshita. When they're all together, all of these rishis and Raja Parikshita, they're all remembering Bhagwan. These rishis are great, Raja Parikshita is great, but the greatest amongst all of them is Bhagwan. So really they're offering their gratitude to Bhagwan. That's what satsang is about, to remember the Creator. So they've all sat down, and Raja Parikshita first asks all of these rishis this question. Asks them, I'm going to die, you know this. You've come to bless me. What should I do as I'm dying? Then who comes? Rishi Shuka. Rishi Shuka is a 16-year-old boy. He's not wearing any clothes. And following him are so many devis, so many children, Balavihara students. Rishi Shuka, he arrives there with no outer sign. And I thought that was such an important point. See, today I have to go to Buffalo and I'm wearing my tilak. That's a sign, isn't it? It's a sign that I follow this religion as an example. Clothes. Right now I'm wearing white clothes, which is different than blue clothes or jeans, right? It's less typical. See all my outer signs. But for him, no outer signs. No clothing, period. So pure. He has no dependency. He's not depending on anything, on anyone. He's not seeking anything, anyone. He is free. And that's why he's described as most adorable. Those who do not depend, those who are independent, those who do not seek, they're acting out of happiness. Most adorable is our Rishi Shuka. Today I was telling Vyasa as I brought him to the ashram, I was saying, your son is going to come today in Bhagavatam. And then I was thinking in my mind, really, you should be Rishi Shuka. That should have been your name. Most adorable. And following this question, he asks Rishi Shuka 5 verbs, okay? He asks, someone who's dying, what should they hear? What should they speak? What should they do? What should they remember? And who should they worship? What are those 5 verbs? What should they hear, speak, do, remember, and worship? And this question is very much like Prince Arjuna's question to Bhagavan Krishna. Someone who's enlightened, how do they think? How do they speak? How do they sit? How do they walk? But Prince Arjuna's question was about the art of living. Raja Parikshita's question is the art of dying. With this, we complete the first skanda, and the focal point, the description of the first skanda is adhikari. Each skanda, each canto, has one focal point, and for number one, it's adhikari. For the second, it will be sadhana. Next week, when we meet, we will begin sadhana. First, you have to be a disciple, adhikari, then begins the discipline, which is the sadhana. When we talk about adhikari, someone who's eligible, a disciple, in this particular chapter, we are not just describing the listener, we're also describing the speaker. Who is the eligible listener, Raja Parikshita, and now comes the eligible speaker. And Guruji had shared, when one becomes a disciple, when one is ready for discipline, Bhagavan brings the Parama Guru to that seeker. Bhagavan brings the adhikari listener and adhikari speaker together. In my carelessness, I forgot to chant our first and second shloka. This is still being recorded. I'm going to do it now as if I didn't forget. Janmadhyasya yatonvayati taratascharteshva bhignaswarat tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muhyanti yatsurayaha tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi dharma projita ketavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Va Parerishwaraha Sadyo Hridyavarudyate Tetra Kritibi Shushrushubistatkshanat. Narayana.